All right, so Roscoe,
Yo,
this is our 5150 180 review show based off of our initial show that we did about Corey Holcomb's meltdown on his
right.
boy Zoe Williams.
Hmm.
So basically, some more information has come to light, and we decided to put some more perspective on the situation. But
Right.
I just want to put it out there because we know it's a lot of people out in YouTube land that's out here clout chasing that don't watch the 5150 show, probably just drop in sporadically. This is a passion for me. I've been watching these men since they were at the Conga Room back on the Foxhole on Jamie Foxx's Sirius station. So I've been watching this a long time. I'm not using this as a means to gain any clout or to piggyback. We know this is a popular subject matter right now, but I had to put it out there because I am one of the faithful. I'm in like 35150 groups on Facebook. This is not something that I'm just doing passively. I subscribe to the channel, I've donated, I've purchased shirts, I've done the whole nine when it comes to this subject matter. So I had to put that out there because I know it's a lot of you niggas out there in YouTube land that don't mess with 5150 like that. Probably ain't messed with them for years, and y'all just out there trying to get y'all's likes up. Y'all stop doing that. Don't do that. This is real for me. At any rate, what's your take on the new information that's come out, Roscoe?
Well, first of all, I want to say I am one of those niggas you was talking about. You know, no, actually, I'm not. I will say, I have been familiar with Corey, and I have been a follower of his through like stand up comedy and stuff. But I wasn't a watcher or a viewer of 5150. But I can say that this whole thing started off for us when my man shared the video with me, and he did that. Like he said, it wasn't about clout chasing. My man is really a heavy supporter of this guy, and when he called me and told me about it and shared the video with me, he was very taken back about the whole situation, and was he had a heartfelt response about that situation, and once we talked about it and once I saw the video, before getting some of the information that we would acquire at this point, I saw the situation for one thing, but after getting some of the facts, or really for me, I watched the video without realizing that I had been introduced to Zoe through my man Apocalypto, through another forum, so I didn't even realize when some of the conversation that was being had there that I was actually familiar with some of those situations. I just had to remember what was going on, but um the situation with him and Zoe is what we're talking about, and that whole thing with him and Zoe went left, and all everybody knows about that. But some of the parts of the situation that probably haven't been hashed out, or probably have by this point, we know or heard Corey talking about $20,000, or there was something to alluded to about that in the conversation that he was having, or the heated conversation he was having with Zoe. And what he was talking about was the lawsuit that came as a result of the Ari Spears incident. If anybody's interested with that, I don't want to like delve into that just for time reasons. But that incident happened. Holcomb got sued. Zoe, instead of stepping up like I think a man should have, knowing that he was really the one responsible for that situation going left, and instead he let Corey kind of take the brunt for that, even though like on a technical level you can say that Corey was responsible, seeing that it was his show. But like I said, from just a man's standpoint, Zoe knowing that he was the one that kind of made this whole thing go bad, and him not stepping up to the plate in that situation is kind of some of the stuff that Corey was alluding to, if we go back a week ago on that show or so. But yeah, there was that. And and not only that, but I also happened to catch Zoe after the fact, him talking about the situation. And to me, I was taken back because Zoe seemed to have his chest poked out on his own platform when he talked about the situation. And when I talked to Apocalypto about it, I was kind of amused about it, because this guy was kind of talking around in circles, making light threats or vague threats, or just kind of throwing stuff out there and talking in circles. But he had his chest poked out, and we saw none of this energy when he was on the show with Corey. So it just made it kind of shined a different light on the kind of person that Zoe is. And when I think about like a lot of the stuff that I've seen from him and just on his platforms, he's always struck me as a person who's tried to come off as modest, positive, that kind of stuff. But really deep down, I think he has some insecurities, some deep insecurities that he hasn't dealt with. And Corey is probably a guy who sees those insecurities, calls them out. And those are just like some of the things that, that I happen to see. But you could continue, because I've been talking for a long time.
I'm just going to say this. After I saw the follow-up show from this past Tuesday, Corey cleared up some things that were kind of vague the first go around. Things that gave some insight and perspective into his decision to take that conversation to the place he took it to. The number one, in my opinion, being, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Williams has his own story when it comes to this part, but him ducking the attorney. I think the lawsuit could have been mitigated long before a $20,000 payout had to take place. But like Corey said, he has been footing the bill for this man for over 10 years, paying for him in hotels, allowing him to sell his books. He goes into a whole explanation about how when he was a new comedian, how some of the OGs like John Witherspoon would allow him to, just promote his product, because you have to earn that right. And even the complaint that Zoe had on the initial show about Corey not promoting his books, that was disingenuous as well. Reason being, like Corey said, he was allowed on his platform. Corey wasn't charging him. He could have promoted his own books, as he has. And so he doesn't need Corey to plug it. But the one thing that I picked up on after I watched the initial episode again is Corey literally says to this man, okay, I hear your complaint. You're right. Going forward, I'm going to start to promote your products. But that wasn't good enough. Mr. Williams kept pressing the issue, and that's how it became escalated and heated. Corey literally says, okay, I'm cool now, I ain't even mad. He's literally trying to diffuse the situation. But I think the ego, going back to one of our prior episodes, elimination of great opportunities, I think the ego of Mr. Williams got him to that next level that it need not have gone to. And so for me, I know I said some things about how wrong Corey was, but he admitted on the last show he had reached the limit. He had been putting up with whatever was going on with Zoe, and he even expressed some regret about asking, have you ever cheated on your woman? Like he said, you can't ask that of regular men. You know, a lot of men don't want it out there that they're being unfaithful to their women, and you shouldn't be unfaithful to your woman. If you're gonna be cheating on her, just go to the streets. Let somebody else have her. I'll do your woman if she look good enough. But anyway, that's another story. Right. Like I said, Corey brought some things to light that I feel like gave perspective to his decision to blow that situation up. And the thing of it, he's still not opposed to Mr. Williams even coming back on the show. Just recognize what this is. And that's all I really have to say. I don't really have much more to do. Say, could Corey have handled it differently? Possibly. But we as imperfect humans were allowed that space to not shine as brightly as we could in a moment, especially in the heat of the moment. True friends, they could come back from something like that. Were there things said that maybe put that friendship in the dirt? Possibly, but a little bit of humble spirit on both sides and doing better going forward can at least get them seated at the table. I mean, when you think about war, enemies come to the table to negotiate terms of either surrender or, this is what it's going to be. So I don't think that this is out of the realm of possibility for 5150 to go back to how it was. Just depends on how big the egos are that are involved. Did you have anything to add? Because I'm done with this one, son.
Yeah, I just want to say, you made some great points. I think that overall, once we got a broader scope and a broader view of the picture, we understand Corey a little bit more. I still don't agree with the fact that this and the Grady situation, those things being handled on air, in front of everybody. I still think that these situations you want to do privately, in private. But other than that, I think really Zoe comes out looking a whole lot worse than made out to be at first, than we made him out to be, because I definitely saw this guy as kind of a victim in this situation. But yeah, this dude, he looks a lot more suspect now.
Well, I did have that last point, but now that you bring it up, I have one more last point. Like Corey bought out, and I'm not trying to defend Corey. Corey's a grown man. He can defend himself. But like he bought out, he had tried to squash it with Grady. They met. He asked, was it over? He said, Grady said yes, but then Grady still goes back out on the circuit, talking to all their friends, still kicking up dust where this situation was concerned. And that's why Corey chose to proceed with what he did. And so, once again, should he have done it? Maybe, maybe not. But he did extend the olive branch. And I know how people are. They'll tell you that the beef is squashed, but they don't really mean it. Corey, he's from our hood. So a lot of his mentality is in us. We're probably not as rambunctious as he is, but you know how it is when you growing up on them streets of Chicago. You can't back down. Those wolves smell blood through the clothes. They smell it while still in your veins, and they will come for you. And so I understand why he had to overdo it, because it's establishing a precedent so that nobody else tries it in the future. And sometimes you have to do that to people. But like I said, this will be debated for a little while until the next incident. Uh, End of the day, that's all I have to say. I'll still be a supporter of the 5150 show, and that's that for me. But I'm a warhead now, baby.
Yeah.
Warhead, you know. But make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share our videos with somebody who you might think finds it interesting, and
Make sure you like them.
make sure you like them.
Likes.
But comment too. Like if you
Comment, please.
you can talk stuff. We don't care. Our egos are not that inflated to the point where we care what you say. So disagree with us. We'll get in the comments and mix it up with you. But support the Warheads. We trying to get our stuff cracking, and I think we got some good content. So
yes, indeed. And before we end, shout out to Momo Dono. She's an excellent singer, just fabulous talent. You can find some of her music on Spotify. Please look her up. Talented, like I said. But other than that, that's all we got. Warheads, W's, man.